Hari Om Tat Sat Shrimad Bhagavad Gita Shubhubnishad Uvacha Samoham Sarva Bhuteshu Na Me Dveshosti Na Priya Ye Bhajanti Tumam Bhaktya Mayi Te Teshu Chapyaham. I am equally disposed towards all beings. No one is hateful to me, and no one is especially dear. But those who worship me with devotion reside in me, and I also reside in them. This verse was a bit of a conundrum. I shall admit that not much came into my brain on initial reading. But what did come into my brain was this. The first line of verse 29 of chapter 9 started making sense. I am equally disposed to all beings. That's what I expected of the Lord. Wouldn't expect favorites. I am neither hateful to any being. Yeah, alright. Another thing that I would have expected from one that is benevolent. Nor is anyone especially dear to me. This was a curveball. I was like, wait a minute. I just said that it is no surprise that to one that is benevolent or loving, that no one is particularly hateful in their eyes. But apparently no one is particularly dear to them either. I thought everyone would be the same amount of dear to the Lord. Same amount of all ultimate love for everyone. Consider me ever so slightly confused on the last part of that. First two parts make sense. The last part was like a moment. But I thought I'd press on. Maybe something in the second line would shed clarity on the first line. But those that worship me with devotion reside in me. Being the Lord of all things, all universes, this makes sense that your devotees reside within you. All things, all beings, all creations come from you, so I'm not breaking new ground here by saying that we are also a part and parcel of you, within you. But then this is what hit the heart, just like boom! When it doesn't finish simply by saying you are, or my devotees are within me. Instead, it is, but those that worship me with devotion, my devotees, they reside in me, and I reside in them. Wah! Woo! Shots fired! Pop, 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 pop! That last bit of craziness was just simply because I don't know what to say after that. It really did. I was like, what on earth? Am I interpreting this completely incorrectly? Because in my mind, when I read that, I thought that is the Lord basically saying, and just quick disclaimer, just remember, I'm a random dude rambling, so if I interpret things incorrectly, just my brain thoughts, not divine, true, ultimate scientific knowledge being dropped here. It sounds to me, at least, that the Lord here is saying that we are equal. Blasphemy! Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Even as the brain thought came into my brain, I was like, I don't know, Random. This seems pretty bold and wild, and probably could have you staked and burned. whatever they do nowadays to blasphemers. But that's just a thought that came into my brain, and I said I'll share it, so I'm sharing it. Alright, while I'm still unburnt, allow me to explain why I thought this. Now think about the situation. Do you know when there is someone that is near and dear to you and you want to let them know that the love that they have for you, like equally you have that same love for them? And sometimes the only way of expressing that is trying to find a way to express it in a way that will resonate with them. And a common one, quite a popular one, is to say, you know what, look, think about the love that you have for me. Think about our friendship. Think about all we've been through and all those emotions and feelings and connections you have for me. Bring all of that into your mind, bring all of that into your heart, feel it in this moment, and realize that that exact amount of love that you're sending for me and you have for me, that is what I feel for you. Know what you're thinking? Random, you ladies, man. No. Definitely far from a romantic. But I do feel that sort of stuff is only things that you'll say to someone that you feel is on a level with you, is equal with you, that you don't think yourself higher or lower than them, that you are one with them. Or maybe, obviously, if you have to mention it to someone or something, then probably isn't the case in that moment that they feel that oneness. However, in saying such things, expressing such feelings, that feels like the end goal, the what you want to translate through brain thoughts and words and actions is that whatever feelings of friendship, loyalty, respect, love, happiness, joy, peace is mutually felt. Anyway, I don't know if that is correct or a right interpretation, but it is one of my interpretations, and it is often said that the Lord is the source of all things. So why not? It reminds me of something I remember that Paramahansa Yoganandaji said. Two things actually. The first one was that one of the ultimate goals of life is to understand that we have always been, and forever will be one with the Lord Supreme. We simply have to increase our knowing. When I read that, I was like, okay, that is some deep knowledge. And in that vein, if we are and always have been and always will be one with the Lord, then the saying that if we are one, if you're one with something, then there's no separateness, there's no greater part of it because it's all one. The example that came into my mind is if you have a flame, a candle burning, and then you get a match, you light it, and then you put that match into the flame, then you can't distinguish between the two flames, it's just one flame. Actually, that is a good point that I just realized now, that when you strike the match, it could be a tiny, tiny little flame, whereas the actual flame that you're going to put the match into could be a gargantuan one. So then, at that point, there's no equality. Tiny flame, gargantuan flame. So it's only once one is fully devoted and understands and realizes, goes close enough to merge with the Supreme, does one become equal. Remember, people, symbology. This is a symbolic metaphor example. Obviously, I'm sure that there is parts of the flame that are hotter, parts of a whole that are greater, depending on what material you are looking at. just as if you scoop up some of the ocean into a bottle, shake it around, wait a couple of days, and then pour it back into the ocean, that water will be subtly different. The essence, the meaning of the example is simply to demonstrate the merging of the two into one. Alright, I do believe I said I would move on from this possibly blasphemous brain thought, but I might as well get it all off my chest in one go. So one last thought here is, I believe in chapter 9 verse 26, where Krishna says to offer anything, even a leaf offered with love and devotion, they will accept. And I thought, how humble does one have to be to accept a leaf or a drop of water as an offering? And I had a similar feeling here that the Supreme Lord, the creator of all the stuff, all the non-stuff, saying, if you love me, if you are devoted to me, then you reside within me. You are one with me. And similarly, equally, I reside within you. I just think, how humble does one have to be able to express themselves in such a way, in such words, to be like, not only are you within me, the supreme being of all universes, all things, all places, but I am also within you. That was the sound of my brain exploding, but I pieced it back together and I shall continue. A little takeaway that I got from this is that in the first line, the Lord is saying, I am equally disposed to all beings. There is no one particularly hateful to me, no one particularly dear to me either. And as I ruminated on this, it brought up a quote that Lord Krishna always gives a choice. They may offer up an array of options. However, at the end, they will leave the choice open to each individual, what they want to do. And in chapter 9, verse 29, I also feel this was represented in the first line, that the Lord isn't forcing anyone to feel anything. They are benevolent, they are all loving. However, they're not going to overstep and force that love onto anyone. Each person, each individual has a choice. They can accept with open arms the grace of the Lord. They can turn away right now. Don't want it. You keep it. They can not believe. They say, no, I don't believe it, so it's not real. They can hide from it. They can shelter from it. They can dip in and out as they so please. Everybody, every being, everything can make their own choice as to what they wish to do. And this line of thought brought what I feel might be a little bit of clarity to that first line, that it isn't that Lord Krishna is saying, I am indifferent to everyone, or I am equally disposed to everyone, and that is a neutral form or a neutral disposition. Instead, I interpreted this as them saying, my love, my attention, my grace, my blessings are distributed, are showered down upon each and every being, each and every entity equally, with no discrimination, with no special selection, with no favorites. The only thing that changes that equal distribution is the second line, where those that worship the Lord with devotion are more receptive to that love, to those blessings, to that attention. And this is where things started to click with the word receptivity. My practical takeaway: if the Supreme Lord of all things is not going to force their love on to any being, if they're not going to force any being to worship or devote themselves in any particular direction, and is simply going to give them free will and the choice to choose what path they follow or pursue, then surely in my life I should not do so either. And by this I mean whatever beliefs that I have, I can give options. If someone asks me my opinion, I can share my opinion like I do in these videos, but it should stop at sharing an opinion. At least in my eyes, it should never go so far as to where I start trying to implement or force my beliefs onto someone else and say, no, 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 this is right. It doesn't matter what you think. I know this to be right, so you should believe it too, and I'm not going to stop until you believe it. If the Supreme Lord isn't going to do that, then what gives me the right to do that? Metaphor time. I love metaphors. And here's one that did help me understand this perspective a lot better. And remember, it's symbolic, it is a metaphor, so physics might not add up here. As one of my first questions was, does rain fall equally? I don't think it does. But remember, symbolism. So imagine it, up above, there's rain clouds, and they break. The water, the rain starts showering down upon the land, and it does so equally. It doesn't decide that this land is going to get some more, or this land is going to get less. It just showers down upon the rain. The rain is going to rain. But in one field, a farmer could have seen the rain clouds come in and said, you know what, I'm going to plant some flower seeds in here, because when the rain comes, it will water the flower seeds, nourish them, and then some flowers will grow. In the next farm over, the farmer might decide, you know what, I'm going to grow some grain, plant some grain seeds, and then I'll have a good harvest. In the next farm, the farmer might say, nope, I'm staying inside, not going out, not going to plant any seeds, going to leave the farm as it is. Then the rain comes, it falls evenly across all the farms, but in one, as it nourishes the flower seeds, they will grow into flowers. In the second, the rain nourishes the grain seeds, and so grain grows, good harvest. In the third, there's no seeds, so the water falls, and nothing grows. Similarly, someone could step outside and let the water droplets shower down upon them. Someone else could put up an umbrella to shelter themselves. Someone else could stay inside and not even look outside and not notice that it's even raining. Someone might stay inside and just watch from a distance, out through their window. Another could go out with a cup face up and have it filled with rainwater, while another goes outside and holds their cup facing downwards, and so no water fills in their cup and it remains dry. What each being, what each farmer, what each person gets from the rain depends on how receptive they are, what choices that they make, what they decide to do, how they decide to receive the rain. However, regardless of what the farmers the people choose, decide to do, to embrace, to reject, to shelter, or to bask, the rain does not change. The rain falls evenly across every farm, upon every person, without any discrimination. And this is what I believe Lord Krishna means when they say in chapter 9, verse 29, they are equally disposed to all beings. They're gonna make it rain. And when it does rain, it is going to rain down everywhere, upon every being, equally, with absolutely no discrimination. The only variability comes from the receiver. And this was another take home that I had from this verse. Two, maybe. The first one being that if I decide to do something or be a particular way, I'm going to be kind today. I'm going to be happy today. I'm going to be productive today. I'm going to be active today. Peaceful, grateful, calm, whatever it is. Then just like the rain falling evenly across the land, regardless of what others do, then I too should be like that. Whatever I resolve to do, whatever I resolve to be like on a given day, should not change depending on what I experience outwardly. For example, if I resolve today I'm going to be kind and honest, I go out, catch the bus, and speak to some people, and they're very nice interactions. So I shower them with my kindness and my honesty. Easy. Those very nice interactions. All friendly people, all in a good mood, going wherever they are going for the day. Then I get to work, and then all of a sudden I meet someone that is a little bit abrasive, someone that is very rude towards me. Then even in this situation, I should still rain down my kindness and honesty equally, or just as equally as I did on all the friendly, kind people on the bus, onto this rude individual. I'm not picking and choosing who I'm going to be kind and honest to. I'm just going to rain down that resolve on all parts of my life, all interactions, all situations. And how people receive it, that's up to them. But how do I want to be? And what do I want to achieve? Shouldn't be dependent on how others will receive the qualities that I respect and that I am striving to attain and bring into myself. So that's number one, make it rain equally. The second is receptivity. As I go through life to consider what sort of farmer do I want to be? Because in all situations, all interactions, I can take something away. It just depends on what sort of mind frame, what sort of mindset I'm in. How receptive am I to what I can learn from any given situation? And at the end of the day, even if it's the worst situation in the world, even if everyone else is not playing ball, that doesn't matter. That's everyone else. I can't control what they are experiencing, what they want to gain from a situation, where they're heading. All I can do is think about and direct where I am going, what I'm taking away from a situation. So let me be as receptive as possible to all the good stuff. Let me learn from others, from what I see, from what I experience, what I observe. In conclusion, there is no conclusion. I think I've said everything I need to say. Goodbye.